And if people can't connect the dots, that's fine. I don't need to do that.
It's not for them.
It's not for them anyways, right? But all those things are a part of me. And just again, seeing these other women that had so many facets to what they were doing made me be like, okay, yeah, I call myself crazy all the time, but really it's a skill. It's a skill. It's a skill. It is a skill and it is a passion. And
tired of paying for international wire transfers? So was I. And that's exactly why I switched to Mercury. With Mercury, I never worry about fees for domestic or USD international wires. The platform is free, super easy to use, connects seamlessly with QuickBooks, and their credit card perks are hard to beat. I can spin out new cards instantly for my team, earn 1.5% cash back on all purchases, and right now they're even offering a 2.5% cash back on any ad spend. Terms apply. So stop paying fees and start putting money back in your pocket with Mercury. Learn more and sign up today using the link in the show notes.
Do you have a brilliant product idea but don't know where to start to get it made? Or are you looking to level up your product but afraid to take it overseas?
If so, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Jackie.
And I'm Erin, and we are
the Sourcing Gals,
your trusted guides to everything you need to know about sourcing, manufacturing, and scaling your product overseas. Whether you are just starting out or you've been making your own product for a while, we are here to help women source products overseas without the overwhelm.
In each episode, we'll share insider tips, actionable strategies, and inspiring stories to help you source more effectively, save time, and boost your profits. Duh! We know how hard it can be to juggle the ins and outs of product development, but don't worry, we've got your back.
So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into how you can grow your business,
make more money,
and turn your products into profit. Welcome to
the Sourcing Gals. Now let's get started. High five.
Hi.
welcome back to another episode of the Sourcing Gals. We have had a whirlwind of a week, or weeks, I should say.
Weeks, yeah, a couple weeks.
It's been a little bit of time, but we thought today's episode would be fun to do a recap of our second official trip as the Sourcing Gals. Because we obviously went to Las Vegas together as the Sourcing Gals. This was kind of the second big business trip, I would say, that we got to do. And it was pretty epic, if you ask me.
It was epic.
We went to Washington, D.C. for what I call a podcast summit. Like if you had a podcast or a successful Substack, or as we learned, if you were any like phenomenal woman in business, basically, you were in this room. And it was such an experience. We want to talk a little bit about that more from like the lens of an entrepreneur.
I will say that it focused on women with media companies.
I like that.
And when I say media company, I don't mean like, AT&T or HBO.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have a podcast, you have books, you have newsletters, you get your expertise out into the world through like a media lens.
Yeah, like a true audience, like an audience built through a specific media channel, call it, right? So it all started, I don't even know how, maybe 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, I got an email from someone that I got connected through in business, Amy Nelson. Shout out to Amy. She's a fantastic businesswoman who has built multiple successful businesses, and she's just always been a great friend / mentor as of late to me. And she emailed and said, hey, I'm hosting this event and I have a couple open spots for new and emerging podcasts. Would you and Erin want to come? And you met Amy a couple weeks ago as well.
Yes, I had.
At just like a brunch, get to know each other brunch. And so it took like a total of 2.5 seconds. I read it out loud to Erin and she's like, yep, book it. And I think literally within like 2 hours,
we had it booked.
We checked with husbands. We got kids covered. Cool. Okay, we're gone. And so we booked our flight, got our hotel. And like, 2 weeks later, we were literally in Washington, D.C., walking into a room of 100 women at the corporate headquarters of AARP. So a lot of people think of AARP and that you probably have a thought of your parents, card that they got right when they hit a certain age. But really, AARP is doing a lot of great work, from deep research to lobbying for all of us as we enter in midlife. And so Amy has a very strong partnership with them. And so they hosted this event. So we're in this beautiful corporate office. We kind of walk into this room, and truly 100 women that we knew. I think I knew one. two technically, including Amy, when we first walked into this room. And
right. And I knew no one.
And when we left, I would say that, I mean, what? I felt like I knew almost everybody in that room.
I could probably text like 20 of them right now, and that wouldn't be weird.
Yeah, totally. Like we built some amazing connections in 36 hours.
Yes.
Basically. So we wanted to talk a little bit about what that trip, obviously it was an amazing trip. We sat and we learned from people that have gone before us. There was like a lot of Ask Me Anything, Q&A sessions. Erin and I broke up and went to different sessions. We kind of divided and conquered. And I just think there were a couple really big takeaways that I personally gained and gleaned from it. And I'd also love to hear, Erin, from your perspective. But the first one was...
Wait, before we jump in.
Sure.
I also just wanted to say that it is one of my biggest pet peeves when experts online have a podcast or a blog or an Instagram account, they stop doing the thing they're the expert at to just talk about like their media presence. You know what I mean? Like their digital marketing. Like if you're following someone for financial advice and then they start being like, how to have a podcast. I wanted to start this by saying that we're not going to teach you guys how to have a podcast.
Oh, okay? Yeah, no.
We're not teaching you how to be successful in the media world. We want to come at this episode by telling you, which you'll learn, we're going to get into it, but by expressing why it felt amazing and productive and just inspiring to be in these rooms as someone coming from the industry we're coming from and being new to podcasting.
100%. Yes. I think we both would say we are by no means an expert in any part of the media.
Zero.
The media world. We are learning from others, thankfully, and not here to, coach or educate on that. But what I would say is, and I know people hear this a lot, but get in the room. Like the fact that Amy thought of us, first of all, that was because we had a relationship built on trust and understanding and exposure. Like when Amy invites me to something, I go. Like if I can go, if I can make it in any way work out, I go because Amy has done the thing. And now she's sending the elevator back down to people like us to bring us up, to get us in a room of women who we never would have met otherwise, to be honest. You know, it would have been years down our career path before we're in a periphery of these dynamo businesswomen that we're like literally sitting right next to.
And I think if we hadn't trusted Amy's just like business acumen, we probably would have been like, why are we going to a summit for creators and podcasters? Because our expertise is on manufacturing and overseas relationships and product development. But it was so interesting because we heard women speak who were in every walk of life, so many different industries. We heard from professional athletes. We heard from wellness people. We heard from authors. We heard from storytellers, and then consultants and business experts and people who are in software as a service. Like every single facet of women in business was covered there.
Yeah.
And hearing how all of these women go about spreading their expertise into the world is essentially why we were there.
Yeah. And you have to also know that every single woman in that room was a personal connect of Amy Nelson. So that also was like, wait, you're pulling all of your networks because she's lived in many places. She's very well connected in multiple industries. And so I knew if she's putting something together, again, it's going to be epic. And then when I realized, oh my goodness, it's literally all people from her life that she's come in contact with in some way or another. And I think that's what also made that event extra magical, because it was this authentic relationships that brought everybody together, and her being the master connector and knowing exactly, she knew the web she was spinning before any of us knew what was going on, basically.
Correct.
And it really was magical is like the best word that I can describe for it. One of my favorite things, and I want to hear, because we didn't really get to talk about this, was dinner. So what Amy did that I thought was so unique is that, again, there's like 100 women in this room, right? So at some point, yes, you had breakout sessions and got to know some people, but the dinner was what was to me like the creme de la creme of the whole event, because Amy hand curated dinners for all of us. She actually chose who was going to go to dinner together, and she split everybody up. So even you and I were split up, which I love. Like
I loved it. Yeah,
you know,
I really
so
liked that.
she basically split this women up into groups of, call it 8 to 10 to 12 at all different restaurants across DC.
Yes.
And so I literally knew one person in my group because she was from Columbus going into this, but everybody else was, perfectly a stranger. I had not talked to any of them earlier in that day, but I know when AB messaged me, she's like, you're going to love this group of women. Like I especially, I handpicked and curated all these groups to be magic. And again, that dinner, I'd love to talk about it, but I know you told me that you had an epic dinner as well, but we never really got into how it went.
I did have an epic dinner, and something that I got a kick out of was that when we were finding the people we were supposed to go to dinner with, we were all in an event before that.
Yes.
With MM LaFleur.
Yes.
And their Georgetown location, which was beautiful. We got to shop around and have champagne and, see how business ladies dress, which we both work from home. So we're like, we would wear this once a week, but gorgeous stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were looking around for who was in our dinner group. And it was like, hey, are you going to this restaurant? Is your name this? Like, it was kind of a little bit of a flashback to like some school days and like college mixers.
Yep.
And which makes me like insanely uncomfortable. But I just was like, who cares? Like, I got to find these ladies. We have to get to dinner.
Yep.
And I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So there is a level of discomfort that comes with putting yourself in a situation like this. But I found my people. We got to dinner. And we had such an amazing time. Like, that dinner was the highlight of the trip for me.
Mm-hmm.
We had 8 women in my group. We ranged from, there was someone who was kind of a young entrepreneur in her 20s to somebody who was in their late 60s, women with kids, women without kids, women who lived in big cities, women who were rural. And it was such an interesting mix. And my group, though, was all women who coached other people. One woman helped other women who are kind of post-retirement figure out how to be entrepreneurs themselves.
That's cool.
That's Colleen. And then Lindsay helps people who are making a leap from one industry or career to a total different one. Like, she went from Wall Street to being an author. There are people who were relationship coaches, people who coached women on closing the pay gap. This is such a cool group. And the reason why I think that it resonated so much with me is because a lot of summits or conferences that I've gone to in the past, everyone is really similar in what they bring to the table. Everyone's in the same industry. Or when I used to go to like blogging conferences, everyone was a DIY blogger at the time. It's kind of just like, okay, it's nice to kind of commiserate, but you're not like learning a whole ton because everyone's perspectives are very similar. We're all kind of in the same bubble. But at this dinner, everyone was in very different bubbles. And it was eye-opening to hear from other women and like what tools they use and how they reach people they're working with, and down to the smallest facets of their business up to the biggest questions, like, how am I growing what I'm doing?
And you told me that there was a question that was asked at your table, which I think was really cool.
Oh, I loved it.
So explain that to me.
Yes. So then we went around the table and everybody said something that they would like to give to the group and something they'd like to ask from the group, ask of the group. So, for example, for me, I was like, I would definitely give to the group like any sort of consultation about making a physical product, because that's what I do. That's what we're good at. If anyone has, that product idea that's popped in their minds, I'd love to help you ideate and validate that idea. And then what I was asking for in return was, speak our name in groups where they may not know that this is a thing or this is available. If you're in a group of authors and somebody wants to develop a game or a plush or anything to coincide with their book, speak my name in that room.
I love that.
So really widen the knowledge and exposure of what we do in terms of bringing people's ideas to life in a physical form.
I love that. And I say dinner was my most favorite part of the weekend as well. So by the time this episode airs, I'll probably have had the LinkedIn post go out, but I did write something. Actually, I was inspired, which I'm not a writer. I love speaking, but I'm not a big writer, but I was inspired to go home and write a little bit. And so I wrote about the dinner and said that, at my table to the right of me, I had this dynamo woman, Amanda, who was talking about her multi-million dollar business that she is doing, and basically with the purpose of creating generational wealth for women, but also specifically in the business of MRR, which is funny because at the table I should have asked, can you explain that to me? But the conversations were going so fast, like I'll go back and circle back on that, which actually stands for monthly recurring revenue. So think of SaaS businesses, think of even CPG companies that have a model that's giving you a monthly recurring revenue. And so she has created an accelerator that will take you in and basically churn you through her field of experts that she's Silicon Valley back. She's got so many facets to amazing marketing background. And so hearing from her was really mind blowing. And also like knowing her worth, like in order to join her accelerator, you have to pay in 6 figures. So this is something that she has built that is being wildly successful right now. But she's like, no, you're bringing skin in the game too in this. Like, I'm going to bring you the best experts, but you're going to pony up to get into this. And then coming out of it, you're going to make wealth beyond your dreams. And she even signs up to that wealth. And if you don't make that wealth, she actually will keep you recurring on until she gets the engine turning for you. So she's to my right. Next to her is a woman, Allie, who is in the fertility space. Next to her is another woman who is a coach and podcaster in the midlife space. So as you know, I have a product-based business that helps women combat night sweats. So postpartum is my market. Infertility is actually my philanthropic give back of my business. Midlife is my big focus with perimenopause and menopause. And so it's going around the table. I'm just thinking like, okay, Amy knew what she was doing, like all these women. And I even coming out of it now, Allie and I have been in touch. I'm going to be on her podcast to talk about her infertility podcast, talk about my journey and my product-based business. And we're doing a giveaway and all these collabs coming out of it. Same thing with the woman that I also met who is a midlife podcaster. She's like, you tell me when, we're happy to do some work together. So you're working around the table. And across from me then is Carrie Croft, who, if you guys don't know, she's a podcast to listen to. She's hilarious, Keri Croft. We'll link her episode below. But I was on her podcast over a year ago, and that was really my first foray to getting out there. Like I was so uncomfortable. I had like the worst imposter syndrome. And I remember talking to Carrie being like, I don't think I'm like at the level of being on your podcast. And she's like, shut the fuck up. Like you belong on this podcast. You have a story to tell, a business you're building. And I was like, okay, that was like the first kind of like punch to the gut in the best way. Like stand up, girl, like stand up straight, be proud, and like lean in on this. And so I did. And I swear I tell Carrie all the time whenever I see her now, because now we're friends and it's so exciting. And I love every time I get to hang out with her, but I tell her that her podcast was literally the like tipping point of me, like really being like, okay, you're right. Like, I don't need to feel this way. Like I can just lean in and really be who I am and start getting the business going. And then next to her was a familiar face. And I was like, gosh, this girl looks familiar, but I can't place it. So we go almost the whole dinner without her really introducing what her business is. Then finally, I think Carrie even said, oh, she has a really successful Airbnb podcast and coursework. And I was like, is it Thanks for Visiting? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm Annette from Thanks for Visiting. And I'm like, holy shit, Annette, I bought your course 3 years ago when I first bought
What are the chances?
My Airbnb. I binged her podcast, their podcast, it's her and her partner. I binged their podcast for so many boring baseball games. Like, and I'm just like lighting up because I'm talking about how I have this event coming up at my Airbnb business, but then I'm also running a product-based business. And then we have sourcing gals and just how it's a lot right now. And I'm trying to balance it all. And literally, I just felt like Amy / the universe was putting a person for each part of me, like at this table.
Right.
And I literally in my LinkedIn post, I said, it felt like the universe was giving me like the biggest fucking hug ever. Like, I see you. I see all the parts of you. I know it's a lot right now, but I don't know. I just felt like seen,
supported.
And
I want to jump in and say that's important, very important, because there have been times in your recent past that there have been people in your life who have not supported all of those facets.
For sure.
And made you actually feel like it was you weren't on the right path because you had multiple interests.
Yeah.
And that's so wrong.
Yeah.
And that's so wrong. And I think each one of these people coming to that dinner and being someone that you could be supported by and you could lean on and you could learn from and who could offer that unlock just is the universe saying that.
100%. And I feel like there was, to your point, so much to learn from each of them and so much I will continue to learn from each of them. And at the same time, I think this summit also gave me a lot of clarity around all these businesses that I'm doing, right? Because at the end of the day, there's only so much time and so much energy to put into all of these, but I'm really learning where I can operationalize some of these businesses, where I can find that who, not how person to help me run that. So I can still cast vision for my Airbnb and hold the creativity for the events and the way I want things to work. But then I can pass off the baton, right? So the amount of mental space that takes of mine is very small. And
it takes your special POV. It takes your eye, that 20%.
Yeah.
And then the 80% can be done by someone who that's their expertise.
And I also learned at this event that every woman in that room has multiple revenue streams.
I was just going to say that.
No one is just doubling, tripling down on one channel.
No.
There's multiple distribution channels. There's consulting, there's coaching, there's product, there's, it felt, and we used this word before, like multi-hyphenate. Like there were so many multi-hyphenates. I call myself on my LinkedIn post, like multi-passionate entrepreneur. There were almost every woman in that room was running multiple businesses because we are trying to generate multiple revenue streams so that when one does go down or up, ebbs and flows, you have another one to catch you.
Sure. And a good example of that was Hitha, who spoke one of the nights. She's an author. She works in the pharmaceutical world. She used to have a really successful travel blog. She writes a fantastic newsletter, educating people on what's going on in the world and keeping up with whether it's pop culture or politics or what have you, 5 smart reads. And all of those things are things that an outsider might look in and say, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And we've felt that. We've both felt that a lot in the past. And I loved that we were surrounded by women who not only were doing it all, but were doing it all with grace and with enthusiasm and as a strategy.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. I think I literally say it, and I haven't sent you the article yet, Erin, either, but I think I said it's not distraction, it's strategy. Like there's a reason, there's a method to my madness. And if people can't connect the dots, that's fine. I don't need to do that.
It's not for them.
It's not for them anyways. Right. But all those things are a part of me. And just again, seeing these other women that had so many facets to what they were doing made me be like, okay, yeah, I call myself crazy all the time, but really it's a skill. It's a skill. It's a skill. It is a skill and it is a passion. And, sometimes I know my mom's like, when are you going to stop? She's always concerned about my mental health and well-being. And I said, this is the first time where everything I'm doing, like all the craziness, it's all me though. Like it's all things that light me up. So it's a different type of, I don't call it pressure. It's a different type of overwhelm, I guess, but it's like exciting in that way because it's all things I want to be doing.
And you could set this thing down if you wanted, or that thing down if you wanted, but you're grooving with it.
Yeah. And I'm in test mode, right? I've been in corporate for 20 years. Yeah. I have had I never say 9 to 5, I don't know what, 8 to 9 job, right? Like I have had these structures, these boundaries, these handcuffs in so many ways, right? So I'm not even 6 months out now. So like I'm learning, right. I'm testing.
That's something so important to remind ourselves of because I'm 8 months out.
Yeah.
And every day I'm kind of like, wait, what am I doing? And then the next day I'll be like, I'm doing amazing.
Yeah.
Like, things are great. But I do think it's a strategy because I think about this every day when I sit down at my desk and I go over my list for the day. I think about, do I have to make all of these things relate? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Would it be easier on me if they all wrapped up in a nice, tiny little bow? Sure. But that's not how life is.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important to the emerging product entrepreneur as well. The folks that likely listen here is that I would imagine that when you're getting started, you're doing your 9 to 5, your 8 to 8, whatever it is. And you're also on the side trying to get your product up and going. So that isn't exactly the purpose of this talk, but really just knowing that it serves a purpose. It is a strategy and you're in the right place. I truly believe that what happens for you. So for us, that was part of the amazing learning of this group, was seeing all these other multi-hyphenate women creating recurring revenue through multiple streams.
Yeah. And then I think the other big thing coming out of it, and to be honest, it's taken a few weeks of percolation, I think, on both of our parts, and the universe kind of sending in some signals as of late. It also made us realize that we're not thinking big enough.
We are not thinking big enough.
I think we dream big and then we pull back and retreat. We talked a little bit about this. Like we think big and then it's like, ooh, but to actually do that, like we probably need to start way down here.
Or I think to myself, when I think really big sometimes, I'm like, okay, be realistic, Erin, and immediately downplay the dream. And like, why? Stop doing that, Erin.
Yeah. So I think we heard a resounding, repeated time and time again, you need to protect your bank, your wealth, truly financially, they're talking about, you need to build your wealth first. And then you send that elevator down, just like all those women did basically to us this past, this trip in DC, right? But if we don't have our assets, our bank account full, it's a lot harder to do those things, because at the end of the day, we have to make a viable business work that's going to pay our bills, feed our family, and, hopefully have left over to do the big things that we also want to do. So I just think it made me walk away being like, okay, we have so many directions that we could go in with us, with this partnership.
But the kind of, is it impetus? Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think so.
The genesis?
Yeah.
The genesis of this idea came from the keynote that was Amanda Northcutt.
Mm-hmm.
And she, in the middle of her keynote, began asking questions in the audience and was like, stand up, answer this question, stand up, answer this question. And I raised my hand and I stood up and I talked a little about what we do and how we help people. And she was just like, you're not thinking big enough. She was like, why are you going always to the individual instead of going to larger groups or going B2B, or you're not, she basically was like, no, you're not thinking big enough. And I was just like, of course I'm not. You're right. And we both were like, we need to revisit this idea together.
Mm-hmm.
But it took us, like you said, a couple of weeks to percolate on it. And then earlier this week, we had some other breakthroughs in terms of what that could look like.
Yeah. And
we're very excited to explore that path. But really, I think it took somebody else she's a business expert in software. She comes from Silicon Valley. It took her looking at us and what we offer and being like, no, bigger.
Yep.
For me to be like, yeah, you're right, bigger.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited.
Yes.
About what bigger is looking like right now for us.
And then once it's bigger, we will be able to fund the business well enough to help people who are emerging, to educate, to really be the kind of experts in our field that are coaching that we know we want to be in our heart.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we're still doing this podcast.
Yes.
We still have our coursework.
Yes.
We're not turning that away. We're not turning away from that, where we started, the genesis of where we started, but we're also getting excited to think way bigger.
Right.
And how that bigger playing can also trickle down in a much bigger way long term.
It's almost like, don't water yourself down from the get-go to make yourself more accessible. Get big from the get-go, and then you'll have the bandwidth, the financial stability to go and do some of those small things.
Yeah. Yeah. So we left that trip also amongst a government shutdown, crazy plane travel, and savvy Erin, we're on the way trying to get home. We had a very big day the next day. We had like actually a paid opportunity the next day after we're getting home from DC. And we're like, man, we cannot miss this. We really need to be home. But our flight wasn't leaving till like 10:30 at night. Erin's like, let's just swing for the fences and try for standby. And so we were like, we did it and we manifested it. And once we got the last 2 seats on this little airplane, making our way home like 5 hours earlier, which was also fantastic. But that was just like the cherry on top of the magic that had been like taking us that entire journey. And then we somehow just scoot. And not only did we get the last 2 seats, we were side by side with each other.
We were.
Some couple unfortunately didn't make it.
Yeah.
But that was our win on it.
But overall, just amazing. Like a 36-hour, really quick turnaround, going into an environment where we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know if we were the right people to be there. And all of these folks handpicked by Amy, who taught us so much. We had an amazing time. We learned so much. We quickly turned around, flew back home, made dinner with our families, and it just felt like perfect.
Yeah. And I'll also say, I feel like for some of the women out there, I know we chat about this in friend groups. It is hard when you are a working mom and a wife, and sometimes getting away, it's like, I just can't. Like, I'm here to tell you, yes, you can.
Well, also when you're an emerging entrepreneur, when this is like starting out, you don't always feel like you have the right to just like go do something for a business that's not making very much money yet.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like, oh, is this really something I should be donating time, energy, and money to? Because this is just my side thing right now or something like that. And I know for us, it's not, but for a lot of you out there, it might be. And the answer is yes.
Yes.
And why? Because you are going to be put in front of people. You're going to be put in rooms with other people who are the exact right people that you need at that moment. Like, look at your trip to LA earlier this year.
Yes.
And met someone who ended up turning around and making a huge connection for you with Piper and Mint.
Yes.
And although the event in LA, you were like, meh.
Yeah.
You were there for a reason.
100%. 100%. So I know that life is busy. I know that things can cost money, but look at it as an investment in yourself. Look at it as an investment beyond your business. It is like soul investment. It is energy investment. So I just encourage you to, when the right opportunity comes back, because I will tell you, I've taken a lot of trips that in hindsight weren't the best. And I probably should have asked more questions. And it wasn't about me not feeling like I didn't belong there. It actually wasn't the best space for me. So I think it's okay to have a discerning eye as some of these opportunities come around. But when you find one that you just like feel in your gut, like, oh man, this could really be a game changer for me, you go. And not only do you go, you have to go and be open. Because I've also gone to some events in the past where I felt uncomfortable. I wasn't open, and I know I did not get nearly as much from it as I would have had my energy been shifted, right? So I think once you make that commitment, talk yourself into the fact that you do deserve to be there. There is a reason why you're there, and then lean into the conversations. Yeah. Get in. Even it might feel 6th grade uncomfortable, right? Of like, hey, I got to find my dinner mate. Like, yes, that's okay. And then look at the amazing dinner you had after it. Yes. Right?
Because everyone's in that position.
Yes.
It's not just you.
Yes. Yes.
And nobody ever like died by being too friendly. What's the downside of that, really? Correct. Someone's like, that girl's real friendly. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Bummer.
So again, this was there was a lot of things we've thrown out in this podcast episode. There really wasn't a rhyme or reason or much agenda to this, but we just thought it was such a game changer for us personally, for our shared business. And we're really looking forward to what we're building now. And it took someone else kind of grabbing us and shaking us a bit, to be honest, and being real with us about, nope, this is your value. This is your worth. Think bigger. Think bigger. So I challenge you all as you think about your business right now, or your product idea or something maybe in your personal life or at your work life, right? Like make sure you are challenging yourself in the same way, that you're not just running in circles, that you are moving forward, right? Find that opportunity, find that courage, that confidence, or find someone who's going to pull it out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got for today.
Yeah. I think that's the lesson, right?
Okay. Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to like, share, comment. We will also be taking any questions. You can follow us on Instagram. We're also starting to get a little bit up more and going on LinkedIn. Send us your messages. Send us your questions. We want to hear from you. What's resonating with you? What do you want us to dive deeper on? This podcast, is for you all listeners. So we want to make sure we're bringing value to you and answering all the needs that you might have, whether it's about business, entrepreneurship, manufacturing, all the things. So.
Absolutely. And then just to end up, one of the things we learned at the conference, and one of the things we're going to be digging into more, is the importance of a newsletter. So we already send one out weekly. If you are not on our mailing list for our newsletter, it is going to be imperative that you do this. And the reasons why are because it's not just a regurgitation of our podcast. We share additional thoughts and resources that we think are really important for you to know. And we're going to be digging much more into our newsletter in the future as well. And I can't wait for what it holds, but I really want you guys to get on the list so you can get all the...
And how can they get on the list?
They can go to thesourcinggals.com and it's right there in the footer.
Perfect. Great. Well, that's all we got for today on this cozy rainy day here in Ohio, but looking forward to some hopefully sunnier days ahead. But I'm loving scarf season. You might see me every episode in a different printed scarf. That's just kind of my winter vibes. So
for me, it's sweater season. And I do think that I'm wearing like a slip skirt and a sweater today. And I think this is just going to be my winter wardrobe.
Yeah, I like it.
So get ready. If you're watching,
if you're getting to see the fit checks, it's no one tells you when you have a podcast that's visual, like you kind of don't want to rewear the same thing every day. So it's a challenge, but it's been fun. It's been fun to dig out things in the old closet and try to, break out of my shell of sweatshirts and leggings. So it's been good to put some hard pants on recently.
Hard pants. Oh no, I don't do that.
Okay, well, I digress, but we will end this. Thank you all for listening and your support. Always really appreciate it. So until next time on
The Sourcing Gals.